Alright, I hope this laptop doesn't make too much noise during this. It's making a crazy sound. Damn, let me fix it. Or at least let me go to the taskbar and what can the taskbar do? I mean, task manager. Alright, well, it got a little lower just now. It's just so noisy. I hope it doesn't show up in the thing. No, I think it's okay. I hope. Nothing's even running. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well. Hope it doesn't get in the noise. Hope the noise doesn't make it. And the air conditioner is too much. But that doesn't matter. Because I'm here to do an in-depth review of Shazam 2. Now, this movie, the reason I'm having trouble trying to even summarize this movie is because it's just so bland. This movie's very bland, and it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's not like the greatest, but I don't actually remember too much of what happened in Shazam. So I saw it yesterday, right? But no, 2 days ago now. Not yesterday, 2 days ago now. Sunday or Monday? No, yeah, today's Tuesday. I saw it yesterday. I'm on spring break right now. That's why the days really aren't in my mind, really. So I saw it yesterday. Right when I went in, I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember anything that happens. That happened before. I know Shazam is a character, and that's a problem too, his character in this movie. But I really forgot. But I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Right when the movie started, I knew it wouldn't matter, because for the movie, it doesn't matter. You could see either one in any order, and it wouldn't matter. You could see the second one before the first one, and it still wouldn't. You'd be like, okay, not that matters, but I like having some continuity. Not continuity, just some. The only thing that happens in the first one is that all the kids get their powers, and you already knew that, so that's a barely any, that's barely anything. But this shit was bland. The movie was just bland. I can't even say that it was bad, because it wasn't a bad movie. Right? So the whole point of the movie, right? Just quick summary. Well, I'll say first, as I walked in there, right? So I walked in, and there's no, when you go into the movies, there'll be there'll be advertisements playing for what Maria Menounos will be there in the movie theaters. My God, I've been seeing her my whole life. Well, now they have Jessica Chastain, I think what her name is, and she does this weird ad that keeps coming on every single movie I go into, where she walks down the stairs of an AMC, and it's like, okay. Also, another thing, before the movie started, they did the Blu-ray, not the Blu-ray, oh man, I saw it in Dolby. They did the Dolby thing where they're they did where the guy blows the fire. They've been doing that for 10 fucking years, almost. I remember when I was a kid and I first saw that, and I was like, oh, cool, Dolby. But now, I remember, here's how old I am. And it's not even that long ago. Technology just moves fast. But I remember when Dolby was new. My laptop is very loud. I hope it doesn't come through. But I remember when that shit was new to everybody. I was trying to get Dolby seats all the time. Hey, how old is Dolby? Maybe I'm just. What movie did I first see in Dolby? Damn, I don't remember. How old is the Watchmen movie? No, it had to be before that. Damn, I don't know. When it comes to certain that, I don't know. I remember movie years, but I don't know. I remember the Watchmen movie. I think we did see it in Dolby. I remember my dad putting his hand over my eyes. I recently I didn't read it at all, but I recently got the Watchmen book. That's why I'm thinking about it. The first one, not the second one. So that has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, though. So, um, uh, so they're still doing that, right? Uh, whoa, what was I talking about? So they're still doing that in movie theaters. Boring. Um, so I went into movie theaters, right? Black screen, nothing was playing. Thankfully, you always have these guys that are like very like like on it and very talkative and annoying. And well, no, he wasn't annoying this time, but so I go in, it's a black screen, nothing's playing. It's 5 minutes past the time the movie's supposed to start. So the movie's not, obviously, it never starts right on that time. But, the advertisements start, the trailers start playing. And nothing was playing, it was just a black screen. So the guy gets up, go get someone. All in all, 15 minutes to 20 minutes late, that movie. It started late. And we still had to see all the trailers, which I was kind of mad because you'd be pretty much through. We like by the time it started, it actually like the trailer started, we would be at the movie pretty much. And I kind of timed it. I didn't have a watch on, but you know what I mean. I kind of clocked it, but whatever. So that was that. I was over. Not that I had anything to do. Usually when I see movies, I don't have too much to do. So thankfully, I didn't have to get out in time. But yeah, not the first time. I remember back a couple years, I had to leave a theater because I later learned on Twitter that someone had called a fire thing. It was a long story. It happened in Redondo Beach. Not Redondo Beach, Torrance. I lived in Redondo Beach at the time, but that again, that's means nothing to this. The movie is what we're talking about. It was about them getting the old man staff back. And the staff has magic. The old people had the magic first. The two old ladies you see in the trailer had the magic first. That magic was given to Shazam, who they confirm his name in this movie is Shazam, even though I think it's Captain in the comics right now. I think it's like just Captain. So yeah, but his name is like this, this not trope, but this there's a word for it. A thing that comes up all the time. There's a word for it in music and movies, I'm sure. A thing that comes up all the time, right? A running joke, a gag, which was annoying, right? And I'll tell you what, the disabled kid in this movie, last time I vividly remember him being Shazam, but I guess he's not in this movie. I really remember it being him, but it's not. So they have the magic. They go after these kids because the magic has transferred over to them. When they get the kids, they take their magic back and go back to their own world. Now, the part that's odd in this movie is that they're also trying to get the tree of life back to their planet, and they need this apple that Shazam has in his cave to do it. Now, again, the magic that was the old ladies, these three sisters are looking for, was transferred to them by the magician, right? To Shazam and his friends by the magician. So that happens, right, in the last movie. He gives Shazam his powers. Now, the magician is not human. He's a magic guy. They're in Shazam. They don't explore this, but Shazam has a very vast lore of magic and gods that is kind of aside from the rest of I mean, obviously it's connected to Marvel, because he's Shazam. He's a Marvel character, but he has his own thing, Shazam, his own god and this and that, like in the comics right now. Well, I don't know if right now, but it probably is right now, but they're also doing this thing in the comics where they're like exploring different worlds. Like in this movie, they have the place Shazam has in his throne of old gods. Basically, he lives in. They all hang out there. He doesn't live there. They all hang out there. They still live in their foster home, but when they change into their god forms, they hang out in this place that's like the old god throne, and one of the places is a place with a bunch of doors, and they go in. They explore that a lot more in the comics, and I really wish they went into a couple. You only see one door You see one door, and then the guy gets thrown from one door. They go looking for him because he's like mapping it. But the whole point is they're playing with that in the comics, and I don't like it. It's very boring. I don't like it. It's very boring. I like the comics where it's either Shazam alone, and he's not the kid, like, at all. That's what I like the best. Second, I also like when all the kids form into one Shazam. Now, I haven't read a Shazam comic in a while. I saw one in the store, but I didn't buy it. It was too much, even used. But I like that. So I don't know what's going on with the comics, but I liked it when it was either him alone or when all the kids would say Shazam and they would all form into him, into one person, which is weird. I think his name is Captain in the comics. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So they do that, right? I mean, no, they do. They go and they find the old ladies go and they realize the powers have been given to these kids. They want the power back. And that's it. That's the whole basis of the movie. They fight. Obviously, they lose, right? They tried to get the power back. The kids, with the power of family, they win. It is a nice family movie. I should say that. It is a good movie. It's not like super good. But it's not bad. The CGI, though, I would say is above. It's like very good. I'd say, more. Sorry, I said Marvel. This is this is DC. Sorry, I don't know why I said Marvel. Sorry, he's disconnected by that whole thing. Just replace when I said Marvel with DC. I meant to say DC. Also the reason why I brought that up just now is because the end fight takes place in a bubble. If because there's always a reason why no other heroes are here. It's because they form a magic bubble around the city. So whatever, that always happens. So they fight, they lose. The kids keep the magic. The old man gives all the kids their powers back because the old ladies were taking everyone's powers except the main kid, Shazam. So that's it, really. They were looking. The old ladies were looking. They found it. They fought. The kids won. Right? Good movie. Overall, a good family movie. Now, here's the problem: the characters. The main character is so completely different. The main kid is like this. Like, I don't know. Maybe we didn't see him enough, but he's the actor that actually plays Shazam, when he actually says it, and he's a grown man, which, by the way, the kid's 20 in real life. That guy, who I don't like in this movie at all, I'm so tired of this guy as Shazam. He's like doing this whole like weird thing where he's like super dumb, but then when he's a kid, before he actually transforms, that kid is not like him at all. Like, it's a complete, and they don't say this, and it doesn't happen with any other kids when they turn into their god forms. No one else is stupid. No one else even is a change of character. No one. Except him. He's like a completely different person, and it annoyed the hell out of me in the last movie towards the end, and now he's doing it for the whole movie. Now it's just too much. I don't know why he's not. In the movie, they say he's about to turn 18. Right, he just acts like a child when he's transformed, but when he's a kid, and before he's not a kid anymore, really. When he doesn't transform and he's just a person, he doesn't act like that at all. It's so odd, and it's something that does not happen. It happens in the comics a little bit, but he gets over it. He's like a competent guy. He gets into the Justice League. They kick him out eventually, and then I think he goes back in. But when does he go? Does he go back in? Yeah. I think he's out right now in the comics, but he definitely was in there for a while. But he's competent at some point, and he's 20 years old at this point. He's been a superhero, I'm assuming, for, let's just keep the movie tied in with real life, almost 3 years. Because the other movie came out in 2019, so he's almost been superheroing for almost 3 years, and you don't have to be super confident as a superhero at that point, but it's like he's acting so dumb in this movie. It's like, we get it. That's over. That shtick is over. The actor that plays Shazam should. Here's the real problem. They all grow. Man, the whole Shazam thing. This is what I knew would happen when they said they're making a Shazam movie. He's going to age out, and I think the older guy. Here's the real problem, right? They can't make another movie without either one of them, because now it's just it's insane. It makes no sense. You know what I mean? But that actor, Zachary Levi, is friends with the other guy that joined James Gunn for this whole new run of movies. He joined him. He's friends with that dude in real life, like a real friends. So of course, again, that soft reboot James Gunn did will haunt DC forever. It'll be terrible. Him not doing a hard reboot is terrible. And this whole, I've already written off all the, what happened to my computer, didn't it? Oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. But I've already written off those movies. So he's friends with him in real life, so he's not going anywhere. Now the kid, honestly, I think the kid should first of all be like, okay, you need to change the actor I turn into, or I'm not doing these movies anymore. And they probably will say no. And I think a lot of fans will be mad, because I do like the kid who, before he transforms, I like him much more than the other Zachary Levi, I think. I may be saying, I'm recording this with my phone. I was about to try to pick up my phone. And I don't. No, fuck it. I don't know. I think I'm getting that right. Whatever his name is. I think they should say that. And of course, they won't. But who's more important? Zachary Levi to this movie or the kid? I honestly have no idea. But this is a problem. This is what I'm saying. When they did a Shazam movie and I first saw who he was going to transform into, I already knew back then. I think it was like 2017, I want to say. Back then I knew, I'm like, this won't work out. It needs to be the same person. Just put makeup on them to make them look older as Shazam, even a little bit. And what's crazy is Shazam in the comics doesn't even look that old when he turns. You know what I mean? When he is a god, he doesn't even look that much older. He's like I would say he's like maybe early 30s. This dude's like 40, right? And the young kid's 20. So there's this weird thing where he's like, and everyone else, and the craziest thing about the actors and how bad he is as older, everyone else is cool. Every other character is cool, and they keep their character when they turn from a kid, to their god mode. They stay the same. And here's the craziest part: all the actors turn into different people except the woman, the older girl. She turned into herself because I guess she got her powers after she was 18, let's just say. Who knows how it works in their universe, really? I think I do know, but I forgot. But she is the only one that actually just turns into like a buffer version of herself. So, also, in this movie, okay, very good-looking woman. I'll keep it at that, right? Keep it a buck. She's very good-looking in this movie. I'll just keep it at that, okay? Also, yeah, I'll keep it at that. I'll just say that. Something's wrong with me. I have to like constantly say what I want to say, but I won't say it. That's okay. She's good looking in this movie. That's all. And she's a good looking actress. That's all I'll say. And I would say she's the best actor in this movie too. Really, the mom was also good, and the dad was also good. But the worst was him. There was the older guy who played actual Shazam. His god form. I forget the kid's name. Also, I'm not even that much older than the kid. It's funny. I'm calling people kids who are like 3 years, 4 years younger than me. They're not really kids. So yeah, it's just his character was awful, and I'm tired of him. If they do make another, here's the craziest part about this movie. So it's like a proper ending, right? And not an ending to where they all die or anything, but it's at the end of this movie. It's like, yeah, cool. That's Shazam. If Shazam in this form, in this universe never came back, the end of this movie would be good. It'd be like, all right, cool. Nice ending. Nice family friendly ending. It's a very good family movie. Again, I keep saying that, but this really isn't for too many people other than families. If you're like a DC fan, you really don't even need to see this. Not really. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't really, again, it's like picking up a single comic. It's like reading and be like, all right, cool. The craziest part is that they said, I saw online that they might make another one. What are you gonna do? What do you mean another one? Another Shazam? Why? What, like, I'm struggling to understand what they're trying to do with these movies. It's like, you're gonna make another one. What? For what? For what? Move on. DC has a real problem, and the fans too have a real problem with letting. Excuse me. Have a real problem with letting go of actors. Just let go. Let these people go. Move on. There's like, yeah, we might bring him back. So now Shazam's gonna be what, 45 years old, and the kid's gonna be 25. What are we doing? What are you doing? It should have been. I said this from the beginning. They should have gotten an actor who plays Shazam. Number one, again, his character should be the same. The kid, I didn't say this, but I meant to go into the kid when he's Shazam is like this. He's like kind of a nervous like person, a little bit, but so different than his characters actually is than Zachary Levi, that guy as Shazam. Like this kid's kind of a cool kid and like kind of gets it, you know what I mean? But then when he turns, it's an entirely different person. I was really annoyed by the end of this movie, especially with the meeting. He has a meeting with one of the sisters he has this plan to where he wants to capture her and trade her for his brother, the disabled kid, who got really annoying in this movie too. But again, not too annoying. I don't know. He's not a lead, unfortunately. I don't think he's a lead character. But I don't know. His acting is just it screams side character, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I think he's too annoying. Also, when he loses he can't walk. He's like I guess he has something with his leg. He can't walk on his right leg. I think it's his right. And there's a point in the movie where he doesn't have it, and he walked in the act. You know, obviously the actor isn't like that in real life, and he just walked completely fine. Like he doesn't have a limp at all for those moments, but whatever. The kid is different than his character, is what I'm trying to say. Overall, the movie was mid. I don't know. This movie was pissing me off. So they have this meeting where he wants to trade. The disabled kid gets captured. He has a plan to have a fake meeting with one of the sisters who's trying to get the magic to capture her, put her in jail, and trade him. And the whole time during the meeting, he's just like fumbling. It's just like, it's just like he's playing it so dumb. And I'm like, you're not that dumb. Shazam isn't that dumb. Yes, he's a kid in a man's body, but I feel like this actor took that into like way greater proportions. Even a kid would know the power he has in that moment, and to be at least pretend to be calm. I mean, he was annoying me to no end at that point. To no end. Ugh, but whatever. So, movie overall, not bad. The actor who plays Shazam annoyed the hell out of me, and I am kind of devastated. I'll be real with you, that they're even thinking about making another one. They need to end this and get a new actor. They need to get an actor that's like in his late 20s to early 30s, to where when he says Shazam, he could kind of just. So by the way, the actor, Zachary Levi, if I keep saying his name wrong, I'm sorry, but that actor is huge in this movie. Okay, like I don't think he's even that buff in real life. Again, it's like this extreme because the kid actor is like not. Yeah, exactly. I think he's like 6'3" or something. The kid is like, 5 something. I want to say 5'10" maybe. Again, what are you gonna do later? So the kid's gonna. How old is this kid gonna get? How old is that actor gonna get? Right? They should get a guy in his late 20s that when he says Shazam, he gets a little bit buffer and gets a little bit older, a little bit, just like a couple years. His hair maybe gets longer, and then, he gets, maybe you make it seem like he's a little bit taller, maybe. Not even that. That's what they should have done. But no, they went the literal kid to grown up route, which they shouldn't have done. I don't know why they did that. Now they're in this weird thing to where the actor's getting too old. It's insane. Honestly, they should give this franchise to the woman in this movie. I forget her name. She said she's in college in the movie. She's not, I'm sure, in real life, but I think she's like 30 in real life. Again, if she's like the late 20s to 30 in real life, and she, like I said, she turns into herself, that is perfect. That is exactly what you should be doing. They should have got every actor in this movie should have been a late 20. Like, okay, the whole thing about him being a kid, you don't have to do comics accuracy to that degree. You could get like, it's okay. You know what I mean? They're like this. It's like this whole thing with Robin. They're like, Robin, he's just a kid. It's like it's a comic book. You don't have to be so close to the comic book to where it's like in real life to where to get that messy. You can have a teenage Robin. It's all right. He doesn't have to be a little kid. Like, obviously that's going to be too difficult. It's going to be too weird as he grows up. Like, just have him be a teen or like early 20s. I don't know why people are like so hell bent on being accuracy. And then I see the other day on Instagram of the New 52 animated movies, right? And people debating whether or not Batman should have his real eyes in the next movie, or or the white eyes. But no one cares that it's comic book accurate that his real eyes, it's just, how are you going to argue about that? But everyone wants to keep Zachary Levi as this. It's like, where do you guys start and stop with the accuracy? Okay, and there was a person in my theater that clapped when Wonder Woman showed up in this movie. I'm like, who enjoys this? Do you just keep wanting the people to come back? Let go. This woman in the movie, really? Full on clap for her. I'm like, move on. You all of you, all DC fans, if you're watching, need to move the hell on. Okay? Let go of all these motherfuckers. Unfortunately, the kid who I like needs to be dropped too. All this needs to be stopped. Also, the black girl, I don't like that they made her steal a cat in this movie. She gave it back, but I still don't like it. Okay? I don't know why the one black person in this movie, the one, has to steal. Come on. You keep doing that. You keep doing the little messaging in movies, okay? Not just DC, media in general. I see you. Stop it. It's really not cool. She did not need to take that cat. That's okay. God, this movie kind of pissed me off. Actually, you know what? This movie is I don't do numbers, but this movie is like a lower than mid now. I'm really getting mad at this. Okay. And also, you did the magician guy dirty. Okay, his knees bends when he walks. Give that man some more action scenes. Come on, not that old. He's buff as hell. He's buffer than anyone else in this movie. Okay, because I know the Shazam actors, all those guys are wearing buff suits. That guy's actually buff. Give him some more. His knees bend. Well, you don't want to pay him for more scenes? That's fucked up. This movie, you know what? I don't like this movie now. I'm really reminiscent on it. I don't like it. Everyone should go read Watchmen. It's a much better depiction of superheroes. But whatever. Time is I have to go eat. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye. Alright, so the first half of this will be a Shazam review, because I need to put one out. I need to put one out. One of these podcasts. So the first half of this is going to be a Shazam review, which is a video series. Well, I do reviews on my other channel, so it is what it is. If you want to go see that, maybe I'll put the link. Sure. I never put the link of my other YouTube channel. I'm trying to get both. I'm trying to grow both, but I don't know. I just looked at the views, actually. I never look at the views for the other podcasts, and that one got like more views. I was surprised. I'm like, that's interesting. I didn't even put any like hashtags in it, so that's nice. That's nice to see. No one said anything, but hey, I know you're listening. That's all I need. That's all I want. All right? That's all I need. First of all, so where am I right now? I like to start off the podcast. Where am I right now? I'm in my room, not doing anything. So actually, I was going to go to Yosemite, right? And too much snow. It's way too much snow going on and way too much rain, and it's just be unenjoyable, for me. Sorry, it'll just be unenjoyable for me because it's just me in my car, and I don't really have any too much like gear, to really shield me from the rain. I definitely don't have snowshoes, so that was out. So I'm like, all right, well, that's out. What do I do for spring break? So I'm like, all right, and it's Tuesday, so I decide, I'm like, you know what? I should go up to Portland. I've never been. I'm in San Francisco. I'm close enough. So fuck it, let me go. So I actually booked a hotel for there for a couple days. So yeah, I'm gonna be in Portland. That's gonna be nice. Never been. I know it's gonna be rainy and stuff, but I said fuck it, let me just go. Come back Monday early. I don't know. I have one class on Monday that I might have to skip depending on the hours that I'm driving. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I'm going to go up to Portland. Never been up to Portland. The most I know about Portland is that they're all low-key very racist. And there's a sector of the KKK maybe up there in Portland. I've just heard that they're very racist up there. I'm so sorry about that beeping. Don't you love that when you start recording something? Maybe you guys don't hear it. Yeah, no, you probably don't hear it. But yeah. So I'm going up there because I just thought, I'm going to be in my room, not doing anything, but I want to do something. I want to. So I looked up there. Again, it's going to be rainy. It's going to be bad, but that's okay. It's all right. I could take a little rain. It's just snow, but I'm really disappointed. I don't go to. I still haven't get to ever go to Yosemite. I really want to. My whole plan was to do 2 podcasts up there, but it's just too much snow, and even if I went, I would just be too annoyed by it. I might go during this summer. I think I'll have some time, so that'd be nice. Also. I think, what did I talk about it last week? I don't even know. I don't remember what I talked about these things. Who knows? But I had a week. You ever get into like just a purely like emotional week where you're like, Jesus, just like all your thoughts come into one day, and you kind of get flooded with just like a bunch of emotions. You're like, well, Jesus Christ. And it's funny because you can't stop it. A lot of people think, oh, why don't you just calm down and, stop thinking about it, stop thinking about this, stop thinking about that, stop thinking about things you've missed in life, things that might come or may not come in the future. But it's hard. It's hard. Anyone that, it's funny, anyone that tells you, hey, just chill, man, stop thinking about it, they themselves have a problem. Well, not have a problem, but they just don't know what it's like. They really don't. It's a hard life. It's a hard life. Definitely doing that. Going through very I guess emotional. Who knows? Am I overly emotional? That might be it. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know enough other people's private lives to even say if I'm more emotional than the average person. I mean, I would hope not, but hell, I might be. Who knows? But I had I had that time that last week. That's why this is late, because I was just like, it was just dealing with too much in my mind. Just couldn't. And then and then one night I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat a bunch of edibles. And then I did. And of course, that never turns out right. You sleep way too long. You don't remember most of it. So, but it is what it is. I got through it. I'm still alive today. Occasionally you need those nights of just purely out of your mind and just, you have no idea what's going on. And it's just like, I don't know, probably it makes you think of these times, the sobering times where you're like, all right, cool. Everything's at least neutral. And it's great, it's sad though, because nothing's really been solved since last week. You know what I mean? Like nothing's really like, it's still, all the problems I was thinking about are still happening. I still, I didn't go back and change the future to go back and relive my life, So It didn't really change. You just stop thinking. It's like those memes. It's where me walking. It's like it'll be a guy dancing. It'll be like me walking to work in the morning after I was thinking about ending it all the last night, like that. Those memes. So it's not like anything's solved. You just kind of have to, I don't know, force yourself to get over it. But then again, you're not really over it. So, sorry. Right when I opened my phone, I got a text, and then I was whatever Instagram video. Oh, James Hype DJ. Yeah, you're not really over it. You just got to, I guess, force yourself to get over it. You just force yourself to move on. Yeah. Here's what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I might try to solve it. Who knows? But see, that involves psychiatrists and other people, and then it's like, now what are we doing? We're in a full mode of like, it's telling what going down the rabbit hole of what's happened in life, and now you're like, Jesus, no one wants to hear that. But then maybe that's it to move on with your life. Who knows? But then who wants to do that? And then, okay, now we're bringing up old emotions and everything's just bad. And then what if it doesn't? Here's a question. What if it never gets solved? A lot of people talk about therapy and stuff, but what if you just bring up a bunch of stuff and nothing never gets solved? You just like, you just tell her your problems. She goes, interesting. Okay. And how does that make you feel? And you go, well, I don't know. And then she just leaves, and then you don't get another session because you have no money. Even though I don't really know how much that costs. I can't claim that. Who knows? There was this thing a while ago that all these YouTubers were pushing called BetterHelp, that it turned out apparently, I guess, it was a scam or something, or some of their medical people weren't actually qualified to give advice, which is fucked up. I think something happened with it. I don't really know, but whatever it was, they stopped. I don't see it anymore. So I think it was a scam or something. Maybe not a full scam, but I don't know. Just like the pandemic, a lot of YouTubers were pushing this thing about drug thing, to where you could just get drugs, by emailing a doctor or something, and you can have you could have a referral, you could have an appointment just over Zoom, and they could just mail you drugs. And I think that was also a thing that I don't know. That, yeah, I guess no one knows about that. That's too inside baseball. To know about that, you would have to, because I've never gotten an ad on my YouTube. So to know about that, you would have to hear other YouTubers talking about that. And it's just kind of like, you probably wouldn't. Like, no one really, no one really talks about it out loud. Yeah, what was they talking about? I don't really know. Yeah, this part of the podcast probably won't be too long because, actually, I don't know how long the actual review is going to be in the beginning. Hopefully, you guys like it. Again, because I just don't have time right now. And not because I don't have time, because I'm thinking, or not doing anything. I actually do have something to do. So, yeah. A lot of these videos you see on Instagram, because I was just thinking about that when I opened my phone, they're like these single takes of things from other people's view. You don't ever get to see the full story. So when you see like a incriminating story, you see something, crazy, you never get the full story. So, and I would just be careful about taking people on their word for it. Oh, that's what I was talking about last week. Yeah. That whole thing about people not being themselves on the internet. Right. Yeah, we don't have to talk about that then. You know what I did do this week? I reread Watchmen. Man, that book is good. Watchmen is so good. If no one, here's the thing people don't talk about, is that graphic novels are so much better than reading a regular book. I'm telling you. If you don't read, go pick up a book. Go pick up a graphic novel, okay? They got pictures and word bubbles, but the art is great. Okay, and a lot of the writing is great. Okay, these books have won awards. And I think there's a whole age, a whole, what do I say? A whole section of the world of people who don't read graphic novels at all. And I'm always like, how do you guys go through life not reading these? These are so good. And Watchmen is so good. It's not just for kids. I think a lot of people are still in the mindset that, like, if they buy a graphic novel, it's like a children's thing. But no, I'm telling you, like a Watchmen, it was Time Magazine's, it's one of Time Magazine's 100 best-selling novels. It still sells. It's great. Yeah, Alan Moore is a great writer. He did, what did he do? He did Watchmen. He did V for Vendetta, the other one, which is great. It's good. I suggest anyone, you don't have to get comics. That's the thing. Comics at the end of their runs get compiled into a book. You can just read that, get a graphic novel, get an omnibus of any, excuse me, of any character you want, just go, man, I need something to drink, but I don't have anything to drink in this room. It's all outside. I live in a place where wow, Jesus, I almost died just now. You forget that? Like, I guess I just started talking too much. And almost, man. Yeah, that was bad. That happens a lot, though. So, it's called dry voice. It still happened. Don't worry, I'll get through it. Maybe we need to sit up. There you go. Yeah, okay. Sitting up helps. I said set this up more. I'm at my table. I'm not at my computer right now. I'm actually at a table. So I'm just sitting up and doing that. Yeah, but graphic novels are great. I don't know why people don't read them more. The whole thing about it being for kids is, a lot of people's minds are completely corrupted when it comes to, like, what you should be doing for your age and what you shouldn't be doing, Everything from reading graphic novels to, I would say on the other opposite end, losing your virginity. Like, it's just, people are so, I think society is corrupted. Even drinking milk. How's this? My uncle, who's way older than me, told him, and I think my dad has said this too, and other people too, and I was like drinking milk to them is childish. Literally just drinking milk. And it's like so weird. It's like, it's just milk. Like, what is on your mind? What have you been corrupted with your mind that you someone says they drink some milk and you're like, what are you, a child? It's like, a child, really? Because they drink milk? Like that is so, oh my God, what are you, a child drinking milk without cereal? It's like, wait, you drink milk? It just regular? Like, occasionally, yeah. I mean, I use it mostly for cereal, to be real, but yeah, occasionally I'll drink some, especially at night. What? Okay, first of all, on the list of, and a lot of people say this, oh, you're not supposed to drink milk. On the list of bad things you can't drink as a person, on the list of bad things, milk is so far down the list, okay? Above it, first of all, number one should be soda. So if you get mad at me for drinking milk, or you get weirded out because you're like, they say grown-ups aren't supposed to have milk. Okay, you're not supposed to drink a lot of shit. Milk is so far down on, I guess, unless you're, what's it called? You're allergic to, I was about to say high fructose corn syrup, but no, you're allergic to dairy. Unless you're that, then yeah, I could see how milk would be bad for you, obviously. But if you're just a normal person, get over it. Wow, I had a cup of milk. Oh my God, what are you trying? Like, people's minds are so infected. Again, like the whole losing virginity thing. It does not matter when you do. Well, okay, let me back up on that. I would say as long as it happens before you're 30, I would say you're okay. A little longer is now you get into a problem. So, you might need to go to a therapist or something. Yeah, I would say before 30, you're fine. So, and again, some people pride themselves. I talked to a girl one time who was like, yeah, I lost it at 13. And not that that's a bad thing. I don't know. It's just an odd thing. Maybe it's just me, but it's just an odd thing to brag about. But whatever. I guess, people have their own thing they brag about. My thing is this: if you're bragging about how early you lost your virginity, then you must not have much to brag about in your life. If that's your brag, then what do you do in your life? If that's your brag, it's weird because anytime you hear someone's brag, you could tell what their life is like that. Like a girl, like, oh yeah, I'm 13, I lost it. I'm like, you're 26. Is if that's your brag, if that's your like thing that you say to people, then what? Then you must not do much. Let me tell you, okay? Because another person that you would talk to, and their first thing is like, if you were to ask them, about their life and like what's going on, maybe your brag would be like, well, right out of college, I got a good job that I liked, or I wrote a book. I've talked to people who, a girl the other day was like, oh, I wrote a children's poetry book when I was in school and I won an award for it. That's something you brag about. But the whole losing it at 13, like, I'll never forget she told me that. I'm like, that's your brag? There's got to be more to your life than that. But you can always tell, no matter what people say, Like, what would mine be? I would say mine would probably be, like, I don't know. Mine would probably be, like, getting a Mercedes. But yeah, I just got that totally by chance and that it was just cheap and used. So even that's like, but having a Mercedes as my first car, I kind of do a subtle brag about that. But no, really, it'd be like making music. I'd say that'd probably be my brag. Yeah. But yeah, the whole Mercedes thing, me getting a Mercedes, I'll tell you, this is how I got it. It was my first car at 18, first car I ever got. And my dad had talked to my aunt before before I knew anything about it. My dad had talked to my aunt. And, oh, that was definitely loud. I think you could hear that. Something's going on with cars right outside my window. But, so my dad had talked to my aunt after my 18th birthday to get me a car, right? And my aunt, just for context, is easily the richest person in my family, right? Like out of all of them. She's got a very nice house. She's rich, and like way richer than most people in my family. So she goes, not that like we're super poor, but she's up there in the tax bracket. So they talked without me knowing, right? After my 18th birthday. And so, when I brought it up again, because I had been bringing it up, I'm like, Dad, can I have one of your cars? Because my dad had 2 cars at the time, right? But my dad's a stubborn dude, so he didn't even want to give one of those up. So apparently he'd gone to my aunt and said, hey, how much for your used Mercedes? And she said, just give it to him. Yeah, because again, she doesn't really need it. And she knows I had no money. And my dad didn't want to shell out any money. He never does for anything. So he goes and said, okay, cool. So we go, and this is me. One day we drive up to my aunt's house, and, my dad tells me that, he had got me a car. And I got to say, this is one of probably the best surprises my dad has ever given me, even to this day, years later. So we drive up, and he doesn't really tell me what's happening with the car. I thought maybe the car was getting delivered to my aunt's house, or who knows, I definitely didn't think she was giving me her old Mercedes, 2004 CLK, just to be exact, right? And it was old, trust me, it was run down. Like, I was happy, but looking back, it was old as hell, you know what I mean? And she, like, really used that thing. She used to pick it, and it's funny, because I didn't think about that until I got the car. She used to drive me, when she picked me up from not middle school, like 5th grade. No, not even 5th grade. I think younger than 5th grade. When she used to pick me up there, she used to have that car. So it's an old car. And we drive up, and my aunt just goes, there's no car there for me. And so when I talked to my aunt after we got there, I said, where's the car? Like, what are we doing here? And like, I was just like ready to go get the car. And she goes, you getting the CLK? You getting the car? You getting my Mercedes? I go, what? Really? And it was just a nice moment. I'm like, wow, okay, thank you. Little did I know I was getting fucked because I had to put a nicer gas in the car, which turned out to be okay. Because back then, years later, again, time moves so fast. Back then, gas was a little bit cheaper, at least in LA, than now. Those prices are insane. But, premium gas back then, again, we're talking about like, what, 2016, 17? No, 2017, I would say. It was not even that long ago, and literally the gas prices were cheaper. I'm telling you, man, 2019 to now, so much has happened. It feels like like try to remember anything that even happened in 2019. I feel like all our memories were wiped of that, just because how much bullshit happened since then. So, but yeah, I got the car. He didn't tell me anything about it. Then I got it, and she pulls out the bill of sale. I signed it, $0 or anything. It was just legally, so I had it. And yeah, we got it registered with what registered? We did something that had to be registered, or the car was already registered, but we had to go to the DMV for something. So yeah, that was fun. That was a fun moment. What was I talking about? I think I had just brought up the car, but I don't think anything specific. Yeah, that was nice. It's always nice to get something. It was always nice to have a surprise. A lot of people don't like surprises. I kind of like a surprise. It's nice. I don't need to know everything. Give me a little surprise. Tell me something. Don't tell me something. Let me at least a good. I like a good surprise. A bad surprise is always bad. Like getting surprised with like a disease. That's always bad. Oh, look at this. I made a comic book in school. So we had, let me just put this into perspective. In school, we had 2 full weeks to make a comic book. Okay, 2 full weeks. If you had to guess at what point I started making the comic books, which we needed to make 20 copies of, okay? You just turn it up. They're mini comic books, right? So you fold it. They're called mini comics. So you fold a piece of paper into basically a book with 8 pages, right? Front, back, and the 6 in the middle. So we do that, and then you only had to make one and then just photocopy it. So guess what day I made the comic book? We had 2 full weeks. The day before. Yes. The day before. Literally midnight, due at 2 o'clock the next day. 2 p.m. the next day. It's like, oh, okay. So I had literally no time to do it. None at all. So I thought to myself, okay, what do I do? I'm terrible. Okay, so you're going to ask, why am I taking this comic book class if I'm bad at drawing? Here's the thing. The comic book class was supposed to be what I assumed was a writing, not drawing, because there are 2 other classes that were drawing, and this one said nothing about drawing. It said getting meaning out of comics. I thought that's what it would be, because I read a lot of graphic novels. I'd be like, okay, cool. How do we get the feeling? How do It was about that. So long story short, it didn't say anything about drawing in the description of the class, but fucking of course it is, because I'm always on the back foot, right? I'm never like in the know. So fuck the teacher, fuck everybody. I hate the class. I hate the class, whatever. So I had to draw something. So I decided to draw shapes. You know what? I might put a picture of the it will make no sense if you don't listen up until this point, but I might take a picture and I'll put the picture up as the podcast picture. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, just so you guys can see. Yeah, that's all I'll do. So I drew shapes, right? I drew shapes. It's called Explode. I named it Exploding Angles, right? And I drew shapes. And so I go to class. So I drew shapes, right, the night before, and it was just simple. I'm like, you know what? Let me draw shapes, like a 3-dimensional shapes, triangle based shapes, because I'm kind of good at drawing those. I don't know why, but I've always kind of been good at just drawing 3-dimensional shapes. Like one time I drew a very simple cup in school that like everyone was impressed with because it was like 3D, and I'm like, yeah, I just kind of got it. So I was like, you know what? I kind of know how to do it. So just right off the bag, I just drew on each front page a 3-dimensional triangle. All the ones I knew, and then I looked up the last one, which I kind of forgot how to draw. And then on the next page, I drew them just disconnected. And this is again why I probably need to have the picture, but I drew a 3-dimensional shape disconnected and then colored it in, so it looks 3D but broken. It's kind of hard to imagine, if you're listening to this point, it'll be the picture on the screen, so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But I did that, and I did it quick too. I was like, it took me like an hour to think of it, from thinking to being done with coloring. It took me like an hour and a half, right? Again, starting at midnight. And we had 2 weeks, dude. 2 weeks. That's why I seriously think something's wrong with my brain. Something's truly, truly wrong. That it took me 2 weeks to do this. 2 weeks. Insane. And then I get to class, and of course people got the best drawings, and this, oh my god, and this asshole kid who was so full of himself comes in with a printed, just fully done digitally comic book. More than one person did this, but he, it was so like, he goes, oh yeah, I didn't really do much. He goes, oh, I didn't really, this is what I hate when people do. He goes, I didn't really do much, when he was like, well, and the teacher was like, well, what'd you do? And then he pulls out a couple copies. He didn't do 20 copies. He pulls out like 10 copies of this like really nicely printed out, all digital. He drew it. Who knows how? I guess people do digital scans. I just assume he did it all on. What do people make comics from? Adobe. One of the Adobe things. I don't know. Probably Photoshop. Who knows? I don't really know. I've never done a digital comic before. Maybe there's something online that makes you do it. Who knows? So, he does that, pulls it out like, I just did this, and it's this nicely glossy printed comic. I'm like, you asshole, you just did. Like, he like almost was like, oh, well, I just did this little thing, and it's like one of the best in the class. I'm like, what? I hate you people like this. I hate people who like do these weird subtle brags. Like, well, what are you doing? It's the most annoying thing ever. That was a thing on my phone. Notification. So yeah, of course he pulls that out. I'm like, oh great. But the whole point of this is that when I pulled out mine, the teacher actually, he kind of liked it. He was like, oh, this is really interesting. I like this. And so he kept a copy, so that's nice. And I didn't write my name on the copy I gave him because I forgot. So yeah, no, I didn't write that. I wrote my name on the copy I gave him, but I did that. I wrote it on the page in class, but when I actually photocopied the copies, I didn't write my name. So every other copy has no name on it, including this one I'm holding. So yeah, so that was funny. Man, school is getting to me. I know I talked about it last time, but fuck school. Fuck school, dude. No, I don't know. I'll make it. Don't worry. I'm not worried. You know what I am worried about? They say an asteroid is going to hit the Earth in 2040 something. They've predicted that. Like on its next rotation, it might hit the Earth in 2044. So, I think this whole charade everyone's playing is going to end a lot earlier than we think, unfortunately. And what's really going to suck if that happens is that the worst generation, Gen Xers, got it all good. They got the houses good. They got the prices good. They got gas when it was good. And they don't get to get hit by because they're all going to be dead by then. So, and they don't get to get hit by the asteroid. I mean, if that happens, those motherfuckers born from like 50, not even like 70, between 1970 and the end of 1980, got it all good. My God. Oof. They saw everything. They saw the computer being made. They partied in 1999. Fuck them, man. If this asteroid they're saying actually hits, God, that generation got it good. They didn't get the pollution. They got the 2008 crisis, but even that kind of passed them. Because if you're born at that age, you already got your house, you already got your shit, you already had your kid. Oh man, they got it good. Yeah, man, I'm hoping that it doesn't hit, right? That they're just kind of like. But damn, if it does, oof, get your living in now, kids. Get your living in now. I'll tell you the most unfortunate generation, even after me, because I'm 25 right now. So by 2040 something, hopefully I'll be good and have lived some more life, But who really has it bad is the kids who are born now. Because they're not even going to reach 50? The asteroid is not even going to hit 50. I like how I'm joking about this, but I'm joking about this because what? You want me to be serious and cry right now? You can't do that. Yeah, at least you gotta at least joke about it a little bit. But yeah, they said it might have hit. Most likely, it'll hit on Valentine's Day. I think they said. Well, I don't know. I think they either found it on Valentine's Day, or it will hit on Valentine's Day in 2040 something. Damn, that sucks. Real talk, that sucks. I really hope it doesn't. It's strange. Like, you really do, when something like that happens, or you find out, oh, this is gonna happen. We have no control over it, and you really realize how little control you have over everything. Pretty much, how little control you have over anything that happens, at least outside of space. Outside of your control completely is space. At least in the world we can, have some control. A lot of people talk about, oh, you get hit by a car tomorrow. True, but at least there's someone behind that wheel that could, that when they do hit you, you can blame them. There's something you could put something on, you could sue them, there's something there, you could blame that person, that entity. But getting hit by an asteroid and having that be the end is like, oh, damn. It's like actually kind of freeing, of being like, oh, okay, so this is how it ends. Okay, so just something purely out of my control. Just something like, all right, cool. Well, hey, asteroid's gonna hit. It is what it is. And you just kind of move on from there. You're like, all right, cool. Dope, cool, asteroid hidden, and then that's it. Like, I feel like people would be more, they'd be happier maybe knowing that. I'm just glad the government told us, because if they didn't, I'd be pissed. We just get hit by an asteroid. I'm glad that we know, because you live it up. Because if you didn't know, and then 2040 something whatever rolled around, and then you're looking at it like you're a fucking triceratops back in the day, you're like, what the hell is that? And then we just die. That sucks, because what if you're not with your family at the time? What if you're not, doing something you like at the time, or have done the things you like? So I always say no. Always tell us the information. You gotta always say the information, because when you don't, it's like,